Everybody, it's great to see you here. A couple of really productive days. I've watched with anticipation all the projects being submitted. We've got some really, really cool submissions to share with you today. Let's head on over to the next slide. So we've had close to 2,000 people building over the last couple of days. 130 teams have managed 24 submissions. So really excited and really looking forward to checking out all the goodies and all the finalists that we have to present today. So we'd just like to give you a word about our initiative and what we're doing and what we're building here. And for that, I'd like to invite Pavo and Matthias to tell you about LabLab and the company behind it, ingenuity.
Hello, everybody. It's great to be here with you today stream. Thank you very much to our great partners, AI21. We're super happy to be here. This truly shows that in 7 days you can create software, and it truly shows that the way that we've been used to how software is created and built and designed has drastically shifted. It's a seismic shift in the ecosystem. So whether you've done it with us on lablab.ai or you want to do it further with us and use AI21, you can now basically come and build new software every day using great AI models. LabLab is a community of AI builders. We are constantly trying to give you access to state-of-the-art technology and the best tech and best resources. That's why we partnered with AI21 as well. We strongly believe that they are one of the leaders in the on the global scale in delivering great foundation models. If you're here, you're already winners. If you're watching the stream, you should join the next event. And it's great to have you. Matthias, maybe you can also share some insight.
It's super interesting to see what everyone have been building. I think we ended up with 24 teams that completed everything and actually managed to get a full submission in. We know there were many more teams taking part of it, but 24 made it all the way. So big congratulations to everyone that managed to build something and actually submit it. Let's move on. I'm super excited for the next part.
Yep. Let's head on over to the next slide, please. So the organization behind LabLab is New Native, and we always like to bring everything together. Our sole mission is to accelerate the AI adoption across the globe and bring the newest and best technology to you. And today we've had the pleasure to conclude a really monumental gauntlet, a challenge for everybody to experience the AI21 Labs technology. So I'd like Yotam, Yuval, if you could share a little bit about AI21 Labs for those that may have not had the pleasure to hear our introduction or the materials. Tell us more about the company and what the initiative is.
Sure thing. Yuval, would you let me start here? Great. So hello everyone. Some of you already met me throughout this week, and it's been a blast. It was super exciting to see all the projects coming up and gaining like a real form and turning into real world applications that can do who knows what in the future, and already doing the beautiful things that you designed them to do. So for those who might have decided to join this stream without participating in this hackathon and have no idea for some reason what AI21 Labs is. So AI21 Labs is a company that is focused on building large language models for the sake of reading and writing in all sorts of forms and pretty much in any way that developers and AI enthusiasts can come up with using their own imagination, turning their innovations into real world applications, just like we did in this hackathon. And this was a great example of the power that the Jurassic One, these are the language models that AI21 Labs is developing. The power of these language models is turning into life pretty easily through an API, through an SDK. And this hackathon was a great example of the things that can be done. Even though that AA21 Labs is also the company that stands behind WordTune, the Chrome extension and the platform for better reading and writing, we have WordTune and WordTune Read. This is though we are creating such applications that are boxed applications ready to serve to customers, our main goal is to focus on the studio capabilities. Those are the language models that are available to any developer through the API. And we are keep on working, we're keeping on sharpening them and adding more features to them in order to help the AI revolution gets its standing and make a real stamp on the world. And we are proud to be pioneers in this revolution. And I bless you all for taking part in for doing your best to add some value to the world using large language models. And I hope you all had fun. I know that surely I had the best time of my life in this last few days. And Yuval, is there anything else you want to add, or we can move forward?
I agree with everything you said. It was a very good first hackathon to many more. Really excited about all the submissions and all the projects, not just the finalists, I will say.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, guys. I mean, everybody needs to start somewhere, right? We all know that big corporations, Google, Amazon, have started in garages, have started in small ideas that have sprung into incredible things. So hopefully we can witness some of those, tiny seeds springing today and becoming the future and the foundation of what we know and how we communicate, because language is so much more. Yep, let's head on over to the next slide. Okay, the top 4 projects we are going to present to you today. We've had our jury panel on LabLab AI and AI21 confer, and we have chosen to present to you the 4 finalists, the 4, well, creme de la creme projects that we have had the pleasure of seeing be born within this wonderful event. And with that, I would like to welcome to the stage Kitchen Genie. Let's check out what they have cooking for us.
Welcome everyone to Team Last Project Submission for the AI21 Labs Hackathon, organized with the help of LabLab AI. Our submission is an app called Kitchen Genie, which I'll talk about next. But before we jump into the submission presentation, I would like first to present the team. We are 2 software developers, Radu and Aurel, from Eastern Europe, and we're interested in using AI to solve problems which had no easy solutions until now. Let's go over the problem statement for our application. Food waste is a worldwide problem that has impact on many areas. It causes environmental problems due to greenhouse gas emissions in landfills, economic problems because it causes financial loss to farmers, food producers, and retailers, and it also is a problem that has a social impact because wasted food could have been used to feed people in need. A report from 2021 from the United Nations shows how the main cause of food waste worldwide is actually household food waste. And most of the household food waste is actually caused by perishable store-bought ingredients that are not being used in time and then they spoil in your refrigerator. And I think that there's at least one person here who has been guilty of that crime at least a few times. Now that we have identified the problem, I would like to talk a bit about how our product proposal could be a solution. There are many scenarios in which food gets spoiled in the refrigerator. We forget about it, we don't feel like eating it, or we just don't know what food we can make with the ingredients that we have in our refrigerator. And well, two of the situations mentioned above can be tackled with our application. For example, if you are out of ideas for food, or you just don't know what tasty recipes you can make with the ingredients you have already at home, we can help out using AI. I would now like to talk about how we used AI in our application and how we put everything together and how we made it work. Our application will help you to easily come up with tasty recipes using items in your refrigerator so that food waste in your household is reduced. The core of our application is using AI21 Labs large language models as knowledge bases for our application. In our application, we use these large language models to help us with suggestions with recipes that can be made using readily available ingredients, or by building grocery lists with items we might be missing in order to cook the meals. Not only that, but we use these large language models to also build out a smart and witty summary of our journey. Now I'm going to do a short demo of our application concept. Our application is intended to be a mobile application which you can interact with and which can help you reduce food waste. We're now going to simulate a time when our Kitchen Genie application can be useful. It's been a long day and you come home hungry and ready to have dinner, and you go and look into the fridge and see what's in there. Once you press this button, a request is sent to Stable Diffusion asking it to generate an image of the inside of the fridge with different ingredients like vegetables and meats. Once we get back a response, the same image is sent back to a third-party API which analyzes the image and extracts from it all of the ingredients that it can see in the image. After identifying the ingredients in our virtual fridge, we can select what ingredients we want to include in our recipe. And I'm just going to select some ingredients that I like. And once we press suggest recipes with selected ingredients, a call is being made to AI21 Labs instruct model to recommend us a few recipes that we can make, or some foods that we can make using the ingredients that we've selected. So let's say I want cherry tomato pasta. Now, what other ingredients, or what are the ingredients that do go into cherry tomato pasta? And we press find out. This is another place where we ask AI21 Labs instruct model to tell us what are the ingredients that do go into cherry tomato pasta, and we get back this list of items. Now, what we do have to do is compare the items of ingredients required for our food with the items that we already have in our fridge. And we don't have to do that manually because, again, this is a place where AI21 Labs instruct model can help us with doing our grocery list and identifying the items which I am missing and need to buy. And as you can see, it tells me that I need pasta because I'll have it here, olive oil, garlic, salt, and pepper. And this is how we instantly build our shopping list in a smart way. Now that we have our grocery list, we need to go to the grocery, and this is where our story continues. We press the Go to Grocery button, and at this time, another call is being done to Stable Diffusion, and the prompt sent to it requests an image to be generated of a person going to the store and buying the missing ingredients. And as you can see here from the image and from my reaction, this is an actual original image. Yeah, these are the ingredients that that person needs to be looking for. Okay, now that we have all of the ingredients, we can now start cooking. Once again, we press the button, which does another call to Stable Diffusion, asking it to create another image. And once we get the image back, you will see what we have. And voila, here is our cherry tomato pasta. Yeah, and hopefully you can enjoy your meal and get more creative with the ingredients that you can use in your recipes. Now, this seems like a pretty fun day and pretty interesting experience. So again, we ask AI21 Labs to do a summary of our experience. And this is the entire storyline that we've went through so far from the start of our day until the end. And this part right here uses a summary model which we feed in which we feed all of the text that we have generated so far from our storyline, and this is the summary that we get back from it.
Wonderful. I've always wondered myself how not to waste food, how to waste
Film
less, how
jest
to cook
bardzo
better.
długi, nie mogę
So
go
it's really,
podzielić
really
na
important
części.
that
Jest stworzony w taki sposób, że
we
jest
see
sens oglądania.
and we know that what ingredients we can use readily from the fridge. So really looking forward to this growing into real product. Really looking forward to wasting less food, and also love the stable diffusion image of the person holding just bare pasta in the store. That's obviously something that was pre-intended into the presentation. Sorry for it being a little bit quiet, but unfortunately, that's how it goes with these materials that are provided by our wonderful teams. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Kitchen Genie to the stage. Guys, could you turn on your camera so we can show you to the world? And could you tell us more about your project? Kitchen Genie, are you with us? Are you there? Can we count on you joining us? Okay. So Kitchen Genie seems to be not with us for the moment. We'll circle around to check them out a little bit later, hopefully live. And for now, let's head on over to Web Indexer, our second project. Oh, have we got them? Okay, we've seemed to have reconnected, reestablished. So sorry, still with Kitchen Genie. Bear with us. It is a live stream, so things may go slightly off the tracks, but that's perfectly fine. So Kitchen Genie, are you with us? Last chance, or maybe second last chance.
Oh, yes.
Perfect. Wonderful. I
Can
can
you
hear you.
us? Can you see us?
I can hear you for now. And I believe
Okay.
your video is loading. So let's just give it a moment. Hopefully I'll also be able to see you. Yes, finally,
Okay.
we have
Hi,
liftoff,
everyone.
guys. Perfect.
Yeah.
Really cool project. I mean, it's always good to be thoughtful and not to waste food. So can you tell us more about the inspiration, how you came up with it, and how you made it, and what do you think you'll do with it in the future?
Yeah, so I think I would just like to first present myself. I'm Radu, and my colleague here is Aurel, so we're the two developers. I think that in the beginning we were kind of scrambling for ideas on what to try, and we were just trying the playground to see how the models interact, how the models respond to interactions. And I think for about 1 or 2 days we had like a couple of ideas on the table until both of us were actually talking something like, I don't know what to eat. It's been a long day, and I have no idea what I've got in the fridge and what I can make with this, and I should order it. But yeah, it kind of feels like a waste not to use what I have in the fridge. And then I said, okay, let's ask the instruct model to give us some ideas of what I can eat. And yeah, from there it's yeah, where all started. All the ideas started to spark, so to say. And yeah, we thought about how to use the models to, let's say, take us to that journey through which, you know, um, like I showed in the demo, just started with give me a recipe, and then yeah.
Super cool. I mean, from my perspective, this is witchcraft and magic, and I like to see it, keep on growing in that direction. Definitely something I'd like to see more of. And I have to say that your diction during the presentation, I was borderline thinking that you've used AI synthesizers for reading the presentation, but I have to say that after hearing to you live, I'm super happy that it was actually you. And that's how good the technology is becoming, guys, at the moment. So question to our judges that we have with us. Do you have any questions on the stage for Kitchen Genie?
Sorry, Alec, just to also mention, you said in the live stream just earlier that the image of the man holding pasta was somehow staged. It wasn't at all. So it was just a real reaction to a real response that we got from it. So yeah.
Even better. Thank you.
Who hasn't been working? Who hasn't been standing in a supermarket holding a bunch of pasta? Just fresh pasta in your hand. I do it all the time. It's a great image.
Yeah.
It's really nice to get to the first chance to talk to you face to face, and well done for a great job. And I have a few questions, and I'm sure Yuval might have some too. But before I even go there, I just want to say kudos on a beautiful code and an amazing documentation that made it so easy for us to understand exactly what you did there, how you used the models in a chained way, calling different model every time, using the summarize endpoint, explaining everything step by step in the documentation. It made us. I can tell you that it gave you many points from our perspective. So way to go on that. My question is, it seems like you cracked like a problem that many people try to solve, like on the internet for many years. Like this question that you sometimes throw into Google. I have a cucumber, some chicken, and cheese in my fridge. What can I give me a recipe? What can I do? And you always get like something that it's not really there. And suddenly now you harnessed the powers of large language models to actually tell you what you can do with the ingredients that you have, what is missing, and what is the recipe that you need. Now go to the supermarket and get a bunch of spaghetti in your bare hands. My question is, how, in your perspective, how do you take it to the next level? What is the next entrepreneur perspective? What is your entrepreneur perspective on this? I know I have my ideas on where this can go into the market or into world organizations that can use that can use such a technology to actually solve a real world problem. But in the perspective of an entrepreneur in the commercial side of it, where would you take it to the next step?
Well, if we're going to, let's say, the mission is still to, just continue to be reducing food waste, I would probably try to find ways that, even though, could still be economically advantageous, but both still keep the mission true. So maybe, let's say, whenever you do a recommendation for a recipe based on the ingredients that you have in your fridge, the extra ingredients that you might need for your recipe could, let's say, be identified locally near you. So you have to go to the nearest store, and you reduce emissions by if you take your car or whatever, or just I don't know. So that might be a good way to also bump up the revenue of, let's say, the very local economy, and still keep the mission true somehow.
Local economy is very important. All right, that's a really nice perspective on this. Yuval, anything from your end?
I think
Yeah.
my sorry,
Sorry,
my
yeah,
colleague.
during. Okay, so sorry. Yeah, we also discussed during the development. We also mentioned about the allergic people. So we thought also about maybe when some recipes are suggested that contain some allergic ingredients, we just suggest other recipes that are suitable for everybody. So that's
Super
one
cool.
thing we could improve.
I actually see that you already have some part of it in the code. I see a comment in the script that you have like a small script to remove allergens. It's nice.
Yeah,
We did not have time to
yeah, it
implement
was.
everything in a huge story, let's say, but yeah, it's there.
Super cool, guys. Maybe we can do
Excellent
one
work.
final quick question, but we've got a schedule, so final minute. So Pavel, if you can go ahead with a final question for the guys.
Sure. So it definitely seems like a global to local approach, right? So it's a global problem and solving it on a local level. Did you think about connecting this directly to, for example, food waste management programs? Or did you see any of those food waste management programs that could be automated on a large scale because you have access to everybody's fridge?
To be honest, I don't. We haven't talked about it, but it's a very good idea to investigate further and see how we can integrate with it. So
Thanks for the tip.
yeah,
Yep,
thanks for
super
the
cool,
tip.
guys. I mean, I love how your project was a recipe in itself, that it had ingredients and we could see them step by step, each component and each technology that you used and put together. So that was also another great motif that was coming through your project. So thank you very much. And with that, we are gonna now head on over to a presentation made by Web Indexer.
Hello, my name is Rahil Gunratna, and I'm presenting Web Indexer, developed to significantly improve the user experience by providing a service that ChatGPT, Google, and standard search bars cannot. This project was made for the AI21 Labs Hackathon, organized by LabLab AI. The existing search bar in most websites performs keyword search, a slow and arduous process in which the user has to read through a myriad of information before finding the tidbit that they wanted in the first place. So my goal was to create a question answering tool that can be easily integrated into any website. It allows you to find specific information, provides answers in a clear, understandable way, and includes sources and more information should the user need it. Now I'm going to show a demo of the website, how it scrapes data. So this is the interface. You can select the website that you want to query, and you can type in your query. I've selected Spring, which is a Java web framework. So you can select the number of paragraphs that you want to get. Generally around 50 is good, but you probably use about 10 with thresholding. So this graph shows the similarity between the return paragraphs and your question. So here there are 3 paragraphs with distances between 0.8 and 0.9. The threshold controls how many paragraphs is included in the context. This is a necessary feature because the context is very important. Having too much or too little information can make the model unable to answer. Then you can see the generated output as well as the links and context most relevant to your query. We can ask specific questions like, how much does it cost to generate 2,000 tokens? And we can ask that to AI21. So it tries to answer the question, showcasing that the model is able to understand patterns. Unfortunately, it's not quite so strong at verifying truth as this calculated answer is wrong, but this equation is indeed correct. And that's an area of improvement for all language models. Another question we can ask is, how is my bill calculated for custom model training? And here it tells us that it depends on the training data set, the size of the training data set, and the number of epochs. And so here we have some equations as well as a link that gives us easy access to that information. Finally, I'm going to show you how the scraping occurs with LabLab's website. So I know that LabLab has these URLs, and I can easily start the scraper with this command. So right now it's scraping everything, and once that is completed, when I reload, I can see LabLab as an option. So that's now finished. And when I rerun this, LabLab is now an option. So I can ask, so right now it's going to index all the data, and after that's finished, I can ask, when does the AI21 language model hackathon end? And so here it tells us that the hackathon starts on January 13th, ends on January 20th. Gives us some more information as well as the links and, of course, the context. So how does it work? The blue indicates the process I take to index a website. I pass in the domain and the URL for the website I want to scrape. The scraper retrieves all the text and it is indexed into the vector database using Cohere's embed API. Then the red indicates the process of question answering. It gets relevant context for the question from the vector database, and then it is sent to AI21 Labs generation API along with the question. Finally, the response is returned back to the front end. There are a lot of possibilities when it comes to LLMs. It's hard to know whether something will work until you try it. So that is why you always create your benchmarks first. That way you know if any changes you make will lead to improvement or not. And we can do this for both the embedding and generation. Perhaps summarizing the context before generation leads to better accuracy. In addition, we can change it to more of a conversation style, similar to ChatGPT, by including the context from previous questions. We can fine-tune both models based on the defined benchmarks, and that will lead to better accuracy and easier to understand answers. If we had access to the attention layer in the generation model, we can identify what parts of the context are most relevant in answering the question, and that can help us provide more relevant links. So this provides a service that ChatGPT, Google, and standard search bar cannot. For example, Google is up to date with the latest information, whereas ChatGPT is not. And as I showed earlier with the hackathon deadline question, Web Indexer can be. Next, with understanding patterns, Google regurgitates information, but it does not understand the patterns in the text. So for example, if we ask how much does it cost to generate 2,000 tokens in AI21, we get these results from Google and ChatGPT. And of course, with Web Indexer, it does with the right information. And finally, with sources, Google provides sources, ChatGPT does not, and Web Indexer does. So it can be used by any and all websites that want to improve user experience. This includes documentation, business, blogs. Basically, anytime that a user has to navigate links in order to find information is what this can be used for. And it can be a significant time saver. A user who finds that information faster then has much more time to spend shopping on your website instead. And of course, it can be easily integrated into existing websites simply by embedding elements. Thank you very much for listening. And if you'd like to contact me, my email is rahel.granada.gmail@gmail.com.
I think it's really an amazing project. I think you touched on a subject which is really one of the biggest problems of large language models, which are frozen, and the way you handle that is something that we also look into it and like really, really good. My question is as follows, and I know this is a hackathon, you only had a week, and really cool project, but right now what you're doing is, you enter a website and you essentially scrape it all off, and save it, which is like in an actual product probably won't scale as bad. I was wondering what are your thoughts in regarding to how to tackle that, how to solve that?
Yeah, no, for sure. Scale is definitely an issue for websites that have a lot of web pages. It's a lot of data to save. So that's where vector databases come in. So vector databases like Annoy or Pinecone, there's a lot of solutions coming out now that incorporate that, and they're very space efficient. I don't remember the exact amounts, but it's able to store up to 750,000 embeddings, and that's just the free version. For Pinecone, that is. So it's very scaled. It's able to handle very large scale volume. I'm not sure what the exact benchmarks are, but when I indexed LabLab AI's website, I think it was about 3,000 or 4,000 embeddings. So it wasn't too much, and they have a decent amount of pages. But yeah, it would be, and I think we would have to look further into that to see what sort of scaling we would have to do and whether it's capable.
Super cool.
Cool.
Great. I'll
Just
just go ahead, Yuval. Go ahead. I'm sorry. We always interfere each other.
I actually want to ask if you have something to ask as well. So
No further questions, but I want to say again, I want to give my best words for excellent code, totally readable. I understood everything right from the start. I didn't have to look back and forth to understand what I'm looking at. Commented correctly. The documentation is rather thin but on point, and explains exactly what we're seeing here, how to start, how to use it. The demo you've uploaded was working perfectly, and excellent project. Way to go.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Guys,
So
that was
I have a quick
Yeah, go ahead,
question
Pavel.
because we still have time. So flying solo this time. So you've been on the event prior. So how was it? What was the difference of kind of working solo with a team? How hard was it to do everything by yourself in a week, right? What was your time allocation towards this project?
Well, to be honest, I opted to go solo because I wasn't sure if I was going to participate. I had the idea for Web Indexer a while ago, but I wasn't sure if I'd have the time to do it. So that's why I didn't really ask if anybody wanted to join, and I didn't know how much time I was going to allocate to it. So it was a sort of an off-the-cuff thing for me. I'd say it was a lot more interesting to work alone because you don't have someone to bounce ideas off with. Like if you run into a problem, you have to work through it yourself, regardless of how complicated it is. And it definitely helps to have someone to talk to. It actually helps a lot, I'd say. But it does give you that freedom to pursue the ideas that you can try without having to consult with someone, without having to say, okay, we're going to go in this direction, and then having them offer different opinions. So I think it comes down to that phrase: if you want to go fast, you go solo. If you want to go far, you go with a team. So in this case, I wanted to go fast. Yeah.
Okay, and last quick question. So first time for you using AI21 models, how was it? What's your first impression?
I'm honestly very impressed. I wasn't sure, like with all language models, it's really hard to determine if the product you're thinking of is going to work before you try it. But I have to say, AI21 Labs, their generation model worked great, and their embedding model worked similarly to Cohere. I was expecting different results, but a lot of it was very similar results. Obviously, we have to do some benchmarking to really verify that. I haven't done that, but yeah, overall, I think the results were much better than I expected. So kudos to you guys for making a great language model with some, I guess, great data to train it.
And kudos to you for making the web indexer. Really good job.
Thank you.
All the kudos are for you today.
Oh, thank you.
And for making it to the finals, guys. Let's just slowly creep on and move on into our next project, MedBrief. Let's watch their presentation and then let's see the questions with them.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to present MedBrief. So we are introducing summary of medical records using AI21 Studio's Heart. So first of all, thank you AI21 Labs for giving us this opportunity, New Native Group, NextGrid, and especially LabLab AI for helping us in this journey of innovating some of the best products. So this is our team: Sangeet, Joseph. This is me, Srijan Mehrotra, Avinash, and Devesh Kumar, Bin Zhang, Khan, Uchicha. So all of them has contributed towards making this product. So what is it? So the medical summary identifies and emphasizes medical facts. So whenever you see a very long medical report, it's very difficult for doctor as well as for the users or maybe the patients to go at a glance and see what exactly is the zest of it. Okay, because in that particular history there will be a lot of information that will be captured into that particular report about that patient's previous history, previous medications, vitals, kind of allergies which he might be keeping on from since his childhood. So we have built up product MedBrief, which not only gives you the summary of that particular medical report, but also lists down different kind of medical terms which helps doctor to understand within a glance. We call as the keyword, and then we also help them identifying what were the medicines which that particular user. So what were the medicines basically they were consuming during the whole time of their illness, and at the end we give them what exactly the lifestyle and habits. So these are the three features. Apart from that, we also give them a Q&A. We'll know about all this a little later in this presentation. So this arrangement of medical records into the summaries also contributes to 25 to 40% reduction in review time. So again, in comparison to let's say 40,000 words, if we get the zest of those 40,000 words in 40 words, and that too very specific, it's always the time is saved, and precise information has been floated towards the doctors. So don't know where to begin when it comes to understanding your lengthy medical report. Don't worry, MedBrief can create a summary for you. Okay. Based on your input report, MedBrief generally creates a summary of your lengthy medical reports and highlight those important medical terms. That also replies you in the terms of query. Let's say like we have implemented a Q&A bot. So if you wanted to understand, if you want to know the age of the patient, what were the medicine especially he was using, or any kind of questions you want to answer, you just supply us with the report, and that particular prompt will be active and you can do the Q&A. It also assists the user in practicing the healthy habits and lifestyle by offering a list of such routines and habits depending upon the illness listed in the report. Okay, so the question is how this happened. So our team was having 4 potential ideas. Then we had 2 brainstorm sessions, and then 5 and 6 minds together worked on over all that particular thing. We had 3 feedback sessions, and then we came up with this MedBrief, building the idea. So again, coming towards this idea was not easy. We were basically revolving around creating a labeled data set, which actually helps us in understanding what are the medicines, what are the illness, what are the vitals. And then in reality, we utilize AI21 as the backbone of our algorithm, and then scaled it using 50 data sets to yield better results. Now we have we are on the verge of choosing the idea, and we had in our mind that the result should not only give us the summary. That's why we have integrated the other 3 features as well. So this is the flow. For front end, we are using Vue.js. For the backend, Python Fast APIs. We had this 50 data sets of medical reports. Our team gathered it from all around the internet, and that too on the legal sources. And then we are using summarization AI21 Studio API, that too trained on our medical platform, on medical reports. And then we are using keyword capturing. This is how using done through classify topics. Again, completion API. Then we use Q&A API in the completion one for question and answering, giving on the same context. And then we use the text completion API using the keywords that has been generated from the medical report. Okay. So we'll now go through that particular. So now we'll go through that particular video and see how the demo works in.
Hi, so as Reason has told you about the product, MedBrief. So now I'm going to give you a demo of it. It helps you to get a quick summary of the medical reports. So let's take a look at it. So as you can see, this is our MedBrief, and let's try it out. So I have already taken a dummy medical report, and this is the Q&A section that you can have. Let's go to the dummy medical report. So we have taken the medical report with some detailed descriptions, and now we're pasting it into the summary creating part. And now we are submitting it. Now it's creating summary, as you can see. And so here it is. We have the summary ready, and as you can see, it has been shortened. We have other parts such as the keywords. It shows the main keywords in the medical report, and then we have the medicine section, which shows all the medicines which have been described in the medical report, and also it suggests a healthy lifestyle and the changes that we need to bring about according to the medical report to improve the conditions of the patient. So we also have a Q&A section, as we had told earlier. So we shall ask some questions like how old the person is. So it will look at the medical report that we have submitted, and it will tell us an answer. 62 is correct. And let's ask it something else. Like what is the medical condition that the patient had? And it should give us one of the medical conditions here, hypertension. So that's basically the basic idea of the project. We have used the Summarize API for creating the summary from AI21 and the completion outline creating API to get the keywords and medicines. We use the complete API. And for the Q&A part, we use the question answering API. That's it. Now back to Srijan.
So you saw the demo. Thank you so much, Sangeet, for presenting the demo. So what's next in the phase 2? We'll also go for the complete chronology so that we present more of these kind of reports into summaries, that too in listed order of chronological way. We'll also give the summaries of those narratives, okay, timeline and charts to emphasize, therapies from permanent periods of creates. That is also in our bucket list. UI UX improvements, yes, definitely, and also introducing some tiers of subscription for multi-order analytics. And then MedBrief will also remind you in future when to take your medicines. So it's really amazing. Thank you so much, Jory, for listening to us. And we really believe this MedBrief, medically aware AI21 labs, which we call as MedBrief, will definitely going to change the world for the better. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for watching that together with us. It's a 5-minute video that was meant to be 10 minutes, hence the audio, but unfortunately that's what happens if people don't follow the guidelines, that we need a 5-minute presentation at the end. It was a slight bit longer. We tried to adjust for our requirements, and that was the result. Hopefully you've managed to get the crux as we did from the project and from reviewing it. So with that, Sangi, I can see you. Srijan, I think you need to maybe turn on and turn off your camera or reset your camera. Yes, we can hear you, but we cannot see you yet. So if you can try to reset the camera, that'd be great.
Now,
if not,
now can you see me?
No, still no luck, unfortunately. But maybe we can just proceed with the questions. Hopefully your camera manages to turn on during the questions. So with that, I'll hand it over to our judges. So fire away.
Okay, so before everything, I just have to say that this project, compared to all other submitted projects, you had something that is in particular useful for these days, and can be, I think, once the UI UX is ready, this can be shifted out to production and can be used by medical companies, by hospitals, by governments, by doctors. This is actually helpful because I know from friends who work in the medicine in med clinics, from doctor friends, and from people who have their own medical file, and they have a lot of medical history that needs to be dug in, and this actually provides a solution for all that, and you showed us how to make it work. So standing ovation for that, and way to go. I wish I had some comments on your code, but the way that you put it up on GitHub, you had a backend repository and the front end repository written in Vue, which I'm not very familiar with, but I see that everything is working. And my question to you is, why did you decide to focus specifically on this topic? And how was your experience working with the AI21 models?
Right. First of all, thank you for this question. So like, as I said, that we were having around 4 ideas, and the reason why we came up with this solution is that because, let's say if right now I'm in India and if I move out to, maybe New York, I will be having a patient history, right? And if I go them, maybe the doctor miss what the illness I was having. Let's say if I'm having a back injury or allergy to a certain medicine, right? Then there is a high chance that he might miss that thing, and it can be a very problematic thing for a person or a patient like me. So this was the problem that was working around. And then there is already a great problem that revolves around is that doctors find it very difficult to deal with a large amount of information in medical records. And then you must be aware that they hire outsourcing manual people to basically summarize all these things. Then we use the keywords to identify the medicine. So the next time if you go a doctor and tell them that you are fever, he identifies that you are having a flu, right? That's what the idea of building it.
Brilliant, and I think. And how was working? And how was the work with how was approaching our models for medical questions?
Yes. So it was a kind of a I would say a challenging part where we have to deal and come up with basically healthy lifestyles as well. Let's say if somebody is suffering from flu, so we have to extract that flu from those keywords, and then we have to basically help them in offering a healthy lifestyle, which is the third feature which we introduced, right? And we were really amazed that using 50 data sets we were able to, and in future if we use labeled data sets as well, right, so obviously the results would be very much appropriate, and it can be sold to n number of hospitals, and it's a ready-made solution, I believe.
Am I audible to you?
Yes,
Yeah.
Sangeet, go ahead.
Yeah.
Please add.
All right. So initially we named our team like Storyscape, and we initially began with an idea of creating a story generating app. But later, Srijan came in, and our team members we discussed, and we found this idea really useful to people. Because we all visit multiple doctors and take opinions if we have some medical conditions. So this is one thing that could help us a lot. It's also helpful for doctors. They can have a quick review just by making the summary of it, and also they can even ask questions. So it can help them to become more efficient in looking at the reports and treating patients quickly. So we used the models from AI21. We used Complete API, and we used the question answering API for asking questions depending on the medical report. It works pretty well, the question answering API. As per the summarize API, I would say it can get the things out if the text is a bit smaller. But when the medical report is very large, it may sometimes, to get the medicines or other things, if I ask it, it may take some time, or it may not bring them down. So I'm guessing that your APIs are pretty good. They're doing it's like it is trying its best to bring things out. So if we train it with like 50 data sets with some, let's say, I give it 50 data sets of reports and the corresponding medicines, it would surely be able to get the medicines pretty well. But it works now. Now the way it works is like we can summarize it one time, and then if we try to get the medicines from it, we can get the medicines because the report becomes smaller and the model is somehow able to analyze and get the medicines faster from it, and when it is more detailed. So
Okay.
it works in a way, and it will be useful in the future, sure.
Thank you for
so
this
much for
important feedback, and kudos on a great project.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. I think it is. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to add, really cool project, such an important topic, and I totally agree with you, Tom. I think that with not a lot of work, you can totally take this to production. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Yuval, for that comment. Guys, I'm unfortunately it's high time we move on and now enjoy a wonderful, beautiful cup of tea, which is Test English AI project in this next one. So join us for watching the presentation, and then join us for a live QA session right after.
Are you a student or English learner? Do you want to prepare for your English reading part of exam, or just have fun challenging yourself with some reading tasks? If yes, our team named the think tank is glad to present our MVP project called Test English AI, or TEA abbreviated. It's a good chance for you to test yourself and get prepared by AI-generated texts and tasks. What is the basis of our project? Due to our conducted research, both students and English learners, after completing all the tasks under the sun, face two main problems in preparing. The first one is that material becomes monotonous, boring, and predictable. The second one is the way to top up English vocab by hammering into the head seems repulsive, reduces desire to learn. Our web application implements solutions developed to fight these problems effectively. Discover unique texts and various tasks to them generated only by AI, and generate your own AI-based text using sequences of words you need to memorize and complete tasks with them for better remembering.
Okay, let's see how it works in real life. First of all, a user has two options how to generate the text: by entering the sequence of words or phrases, or without any example by AI automatically. Go on ourselves with the first variant and let's proceed to it. Now here is the start screen, and let's write here like congestion, traffic, jam. And let's click the button generate. We'll get a text which is divided into several paragraphs with the Latin capital letter before it, prior to it. And this capital letter may be in use in some tasks, like headings. Here are two options, two types of tasks based on IELTS exam practice 3, and we can choose any variant for each paragraph, and also we can see true, false, not given state for this text. We can submit to get our results and see the results in this area by each category. You can see like it is false here statements. That's how it works.
What is the prospect of our project? Certainly, the main direction to go is expanding the functionality of our web app with such features as larger diversity of reading tasks, adding a personal account with the ability to create a personal dictionary, providing users with possibility to select and generate text according to the level of knowledge of English, adding other parts of English tests such as writing an essay and reviewing it by AI, setting the possibility to translate obscure words to different languages, and so on. Test English AI web app is a huge sandbox, which can be developed constantly and made totally unique, perfect, and complete with the help of AI technology among its market competitors. The project idea is not only captivating for development but also commercially attractive. Naturally, the website can get revenue by advertising and premium content. For example, it can sell advertising space to other businesses and offer a paid service that allows users to expand their vocabulary. If we talk about cooperating with other companies or organizations, TEI can offer assist the English language proficiency of their employers or potential hires. As for come-across users, it can offer consulting service to help them prepare for their reading tests.
The project's idea was prepared and prototyped by the team of 3 members: Anastasia Promotska, team leader and AI trainer, Daniel Vernick, website developer and AI trainer, and Catherine Franchuk, designer and idea box. Thank you for your attention and giving the opportunity at this hackathon.
Welcome, Team T. It's great to see you here. Let's first of all, kudos, of course, for participating and creating such a cool project. Hope it gives a run for Oxford English professors in the coming years, hopefully as you grow it and as you mature it. Super cool features. With this, I'll hand it over to you if you would like to give a word or two, a commentary to the presentation, and then we can head on over straight to the questions.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for provided opportunity to work with AI Studio and try on prompt engineering models in particular to create a project. Indeed, we created both simple and useful a lot in terms of our real-life products, as the first one is in this direction, that is the direct competitor of popular services to prepare for English exams. So maybe my partner wants
Yeah,
something
and
to add.
also I would like to add that we were inspired by your project Rick and Morty because it is really simple and beautiful to see to get something out of it. Yeah, and let's go to questions.
Well, thank you very much for the kudos that you're giving me, the kudos for the code. And I see that you cloned the repo to build your code. That's great. I love seeing it because you took the nice parts and you built on it and you threw away the worst parts. I see that you knew what you're working. Anastasia, Daniel, excellent work. Just like the words that we gave to the last project. I think when we talked about it today, we all agree that it seems like you have a production ready material here. It just needs some sharpening and maybe some business plan. But I think that you can definitely go out with it. I'm going to ask the same questions that we asked the last teams because we are shamelessly taking reviews on our on our models. How was the experience connecting to the API? Were you struggling with any obstacles in the way? Was it? Do you have? I want to hear a little better about your experience.
We've used G1 Grand complete model. It was pretty fun and cool as the first experience. It was also a bit great to try on to prompt own custom model and train it with database. So I think if we have time, we will do it to make our project more complete and more perfect.
Yeah. Also, I would like to say that we would like to train our model kind of because we used your model G1 Grande, and another problem we encountered while making this project that it has the maximum tokens of 2000 almost, and IELTS written tasks uses like 900 words at least, and so it was hard to make a prompt based on two texts, and so we haven't included many cases to generate the text.
Okay, great feedback. Thank you.
So a quick question from my side. So how did you decide on this specific project? Like it's a very niche use case, yeah, which is great, which we love. Like we love a very specific target audience with use case. Why did you decide on this, and how did you find the model suiting this specific use case? Because language learning is a very specific way to use AI, large language models, which is not very common right now.
As we all know, English is said to be international, global language nowadays, so it is also considered to be must-have for education, work, traveling to expand our horizons. So in addition, English is our non-native language, and we ourselves are now actively studying it. So this decision laid on the surface for us, whereas we had some other seven concepts, but we decided to choose it because it's more dedicated to one specific topic, and it is widely spread.
And how much time did you guys spend over the last 7 days or the previous 7 days on this? And how much time was kind of balanced between figuring out AI21 Studio versus figuring out the interface and then prompting and coding it?
We spent about 4 or 5 days to create our project. Prompt engineering wasn't so hard as implementing the prompts to decide if that it
works correctly. So we enjoyed our experience, and thank you for it.
And also, we had like the third member, and who is a designer, and she helped us with creating a design and some other additional things that needed to be done, like presentation. And we spent some great deal of time to make this, but it was not hard. We satisfied with it. Okay.
I know we're out of time. Did you guys meet on LabLab, or did you meet prior? And
No.
Did you compose the team during the hackathon, or was
Okay,
it dynamic?
it was just our friend, and so we haven't.
We know each other well, so we just create a team. It's our first time, but it became pretty nice try.
And also, we decided not to disappoint some other members who will join us, and so we decided to go on ourselves and try our best.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Wonderful, wonderful project. It's really great to see you derive, a need that you had yourself for when learning English and apply it directly to the technology and make it better, make something that, can really be said to be better than what is today in the market available for learning English. And your English is great. Your project was even better. So with that, I'll take you to a 5-minute intermission while we confer with the judges and make our final decision. So stay tuned with us briefly as we make the decision on who is our final winner. Thank you, and stay tuned. guys, we've got it. We've got the answer. We've got the answer to the question of the day, which is who did the best project during this wonderful challenge. So with that, I'd like our judges to say a few words about each project, and later we'll move on to the decision.
Okay. I'll throw my very fast few words about each project. I'll start with the Kitchen Genie. Beautiful. What I really liked there was such a beautiful code that lets, if it was an open source project, it would let everybody understand exactly how they can contribute to it, how to use it. The documentation is amazing. The demo was great. The combination of a few APIs, loved it. Web Indexer. This is such a useful tool that can be used like right away and solve so many problems in tech and in IT industries, in medical industries, in governmental industries, in financial industries. These are the tools that AI were made for. And what a brilliant presentation and a great use of code and a great documentation. And I loved it. The test English, such a beautiful code, especially that I wrote some of it, so I love it for some other reasons, but it was used in a great way. The presentation was excellent, and this is a ready to go product. This can go to production after a few, I don't know, design and UX. This is ready to go. You can go and start your own company with that. And last but not least, MadBrief. I think that what you're suggesting with your project can actually change the way that we are approaching medical services. People can find doctors and patients communication can really get changed with AI. People are talking about it all the time, and you performed the way that this can be done. So excellent work to all of you, and soon enough we'll know who was the best one in our perspective.
Pavel, would you like to add some more as well?
Yes, definitely. Yes. So from my perspective, I really think Kitchen Genie, very large market base, right? Very large addressable, applicable market. The instant user base is the largest here, right? So that I really like the UX, how ready it was as well. You know how advanced you guys made it, and it's basically there. In terms of Web Indexer, just geeking out on how the workflow is done, and I think I really also appreciate and liked the competitive comparison between Google products and ChatGPT. I think this is like right on the money. It can be a real money maker, but it is a very kind of niche geek audience that will tune into it initially. So, but I really like the description, the presentation, but effectively that you put it in the correct space in the market, and you start to compare it to some of the biggest players globally. That's very important. MedBrief, guys, I think you are solving like a very important civilization problem, which is part of the mission of LabLab and New. So we want to use artificial intelligence to solve big problems. And you're solving a big problem, which is not enough skilled doctors, not enough skilled nurses, triage, yeah, and quality of patient care. And I think if more people focus on this, it's a very hard problem to solve, but if more people focus on this, I think we will get a better society, which is actually part of our mission, and that's why you are selected as the finalist here with us as well. An overall very good product. And EA, very close to my heart. I have you guys at a certain stage later. I can give you a lot of hints and pointers. I think using large language models to solve educational issues is one of the biggest advantages and the biggest kind of contributions that we can make to society, because the availability of high quality teachers, especially in some areas right now, especially if we're talking about areas that are affected by social inequalities or their conflict zones, which are now arising in the world. There you will need a lot of high quality teachers. So again, I like that. I also liked the super simple interface, the super simple kind of 1-2 punch on the interface. So you have a instant feedback loop between the user. It's instant and it's continuous. So really like that as well.
Thank you, Pavel. So everyone, before we move on, can I ask the finalists please to turn on your cameras so that we can see your reactions, hopefully, and screams of joy and whatnot. And, hopefully our stream won't explode while they're loading. And while we're just waiting for everybody to tune in and connect, let me remind you what the stakes are. What's at stake here to win? So the first place will receive $5,000 of API credits and $2,000 of cash and a virtual meeting with AI21 Labs VP of Platform. And the second, third, and fourth place will have a split of $4,000 API credits and $1,500 in cash to be distributed equally. And all of you will get, I believe, such sexy t-shirts like I'm wearing today. Hopefully, you'll look as good in them as I do and the rest of the team. So have we got everybody? I think so. Or should we give them? Yeah, let's go move on. So without further ado, the winners of the AI21 Lab Hackathon are, drum roll, please, in the background. Thank you. Web Indexer, congratulations on your win on this hackathon. Everybody, please exercise your hands a little. Congratulations. And guys, I strongly believe that, we are all really winners for participating in this. Please put this in your resume. Please shout it out to the world that you've been a part of this amazing experience. And hopefully it brings you forward and brings you closer to where you want to be as professionals. But it also makes the world a little bit better. And that's exactly what we're going for. So with that, Web Indexer would, yeah, go ahead, Pavel.
Before we move into that, I would also like to invite all of the teams here to apply and submit your application to the Slingshot program. You can find that information either on the LabLab Discord server, or you can find it as a comment to the stream, and we'll also put that information to you directly, out one-on-one. But all of the products have great potential and capability to be built into further stages of development. So we'd like to invite everybody to join the program, where we will figure out together how to put the best product into the market very quickly. So that is something that we are looking forward to. We're super excited about that, and that will allow us to with all of you closer and further moving into the future. Yes, so Alec, please continue.
Thank you, Pavel, for that. Web Indexer, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much. It's really awesome. And I want to acknowledge the other competitors. I think I see myself using your guys' product so much. Like with practicing for English, I definitely use your TEFL tester. And I can't tell you how many times I've looked into the fridge and been, oh, what do I make today? So, the recipe maker is such a useful tool. And even MedBrief too, looking on the online, like looking up results on Google, it's really hard to understand what it's trying to tell me. Everything I look up, it tells me that I have cancer, which is unfortunately not what I want to hear. So it's very useful. And yeah, thank you for LabLab for hosting this, as well as AI21 Labs for creating such a great language model. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for today. And I believe this brings us to the wonderful conclusion of our event today. So everybody, till next time.